Black college sports and then some. We got it right here on HSRN The Network, the voice of HBCU sports.
You are listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Green Talk for Brown Folks. I'm your host, Ryan Marshall, and I am so excited to have a very special guest with me. She has been a good friend of mine for the last number of years, and just seeing her growth personally and professionally, it has really given me a lot of hope and optimism, and I cannot wait to see what things are going to happen with her going forth, the positive things. But I'll tell you a little bit about her. She is a transformation strategist. She is an author. She is an international bestselling author and a motivational speaker. She's the founder and CEO of Jasmine, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more about that. Her name is Jasmine Romaine. Jasmine, thank you so very much for being a part of today's show, and welcome to Green Talk for Brown Folks.
Oh, thank you so much, Ryan, for having me. It is an honor. I mean, when we talk about green, number one, I get excited. So thank you for the vision and for having a voice that you share with your audience to talk about green talk with brown folks and the prosperity that comes along with it.
Absolutely. And that's what we're here for, is we understand and we want to help people become financially free, financially independent. And there's so many different ways that you can be able to do that more than ever now. And so one of the ways I think that we're talking about today is we're having Jasmine on as part of our entrepreneurial series. And that's going to lead up to our entrepreneurs roundtable, where we're going to have a group of entrepreneurs have a Q&A and a talk back with some other people just about the things that they have done to become entrepreneurs, the pitfalls that they experienced, what to do, what not to do, and just have that open dialogue and conversation. And so this is kind of the beginning of our series, and we'll have a one-on-one with Jasmine. But I just wanted to just start off with you talking a little bit about what you do. And for the people out there that are listening or that may be watching, tell me a little bit more about what a transformation strategist is.
Absolutely. So first of all, I just want to say that being one who is in purpose allows them to be creative with their roles. And one thing about a transformation strategist is I have the amazing opportunity to transform lives, but not just on a personal level, but also on a professional level as well. So I actually we both kind of started off working in broadcasting. And it was so interesting for me because as I was traveling from different cities looking for my next big gig in radio, one of the biggest things that happened to me that was actually a part of me that, I'll be honest, I was not so happy. I did not have a joyous moment, was that I wasn't able to find the opportunities that I was looking for. But let me just tell you, as a result of, I ended up using the skills that God has given me to be able to transform myself and have a divine reinvention moment that allowed me to use communications, my personality, the joy that I bring, the jazz appeal, to be able to help others so that way they can use their voice, they can be purposeful, and that they can live a joyous life by staying jazzed about success, kind of like my branding that I always do.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So what I do is I, as a transformation strategist, because I have had the transformation, I help others into their transformation too. So I do this personally as well as professionally, and I use faith. I talk about finances. I talk about a lot of different things, legacy moves. And most of all, I talk about amplification of voices, because I truly believe that when you speak life, you can have life. And that's the green talk that I like to talk about. And that's why I love being with you and the mission that you have as well.
That's awesome. I really can appreciate that. And it seems like certainly what you're doing is a fantastic movement. It is a fantastic thing to be able to speak life for people, because we need that type of energy. And a lot of times when life beats us down, sometimes it's nice to have people give us that extra boost and tell us, this is how you can transform. This is okay. So transformation strategists, would you say also to motivational speaking, and how does that lend itself into what you're doing?
Absolutely. So Transformation Strategist actually has a various of umbrellas. So I use all of my gifts to pour out into others to transform their lives. I am a motivational speaking person for individuals. So I speak, get them jazzed about success. I'm also a speaker coach where I teach people how to use their words, how to transform their stories as well. And then becoming at their transformation strategist is being the author, and sometimes just being that faith-driven woman who is like pouring and speaking life into ministry with them just as well. So all of this is under the umbrella of transformation strategists, but all of it all, my whole mission in life, Ryan, if I had no title at all, is to help others to amplify their voice as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I'd love to get into your book, but before I talk about your book, I just kind of want to get your thoughts on entrepreneurship and what you did to get into becoming an entrepreneur, and how that can help some others that may be looking at this and saying, you know what, maybe I can be an entrepreneur. It might not be what you're doing. It might not be what I'm doing, but maybe doing something to have more control of my time, more control of my life and my money. What did you do?
One of the things that I did was change my mindset. My mindset had to be geared because I realized that if I had a mindset of only working a 9 to 5, that I would not have the flexibility to live a life that I know was considered like the abundance life. So I changed my mindset. And then another thing that I had to do within mindset was have faith. If you don't have faith, if you don't believe in yourself, things are not going to happen. So the faith part and the mindset comes with belief in you. I believed in myself. I believed in my mission, even though I'll be honest, sometimes I didn't know what that complete mission looked like, but I was walking in it knowing that I was called for something else. So going from 9 to 5, when I did have to work out of field sometimes, it wasn't really for me. So I had the faith to jump out of it so I could be able to go into entrepreneurship. The second thing that I had to do was always stay in imagination mode. I know it's like we hear about these children, and children have like the greatest imaginations. They will pretend that they are Superwoman and Superman, and they will run around the house with a cape feeling like they're like attacking things, and they just have imaginations like crazy. But we also need to have childlike faith too, and allow our imaginations to think big. And when I say big, think about the amazing impact that you can have as a person who's having a product or a service, or a person who has a message. So when you start visualizing it in your mind, things can start happening. For it says, even there's a scripture that says, you write the vision, make it plain. So that way the angels can run away and make the message go for you. And I jazzed up the message a little bit, but hey, get your Bibles and read the scripture yourself, right? Yep. So when you have that, you're writing a vision, you're also imagining it as well. So that way you can see, but then also messengers can go on your behalf. So it was the imagination, but then the big part that I took was the first step. So many people get caught up in perfection that they don't move. Everything has to be right. If it's not the right time, if it's not the right place, if it's not the right person, I can't move. No, we take that out. We start moving even if it's not the right time. Because think about it. Was there a right time for you to be here on this earth? No. You came here, you figured it out, you learned, you had lessons. And I like the quote that I love to say all the time, I don't never lose, I either win or I learn. And that quote came from an amazing great in South Africa. I can't think of his name really quickly, but he was so amazing. But he had that quote. And I love that quote because implementation is key in every single thing that we do. So you got to implement. Was it going to be a perfect time? No. So those are the steps that I took: mindset, making sure that I'm imagining, and then taking that first step, whether I knew or not, because it was going to be aligned after a while to fit into what I was called to do. That is how entrepreneurship works.
This is your host, Ryan Marshall. We'll continue more of our conversation on GTBF, Green Talk for Brown Folks. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN.
Welcome back, everybody, to GTBF, Green Talk for Brown Folks. I'm your host, Ryan Marshall.
We're talking to transformation strategist, motivational speaker, international best-selling author, Jasmine Romaine, the founder and president and CEO of Jaslyn's LLC, doing a lot of great things to be able to transform the minds and the hearts and the souls of the people that she talks to all across the country and all across the nation. I really appreciate you being here today. Let's get into your book a little bit, because you're an international best-selling author, and Speak to Profit is one of those books that is so amazing. Can you tell me just a little bit more about what it's about and why you decided to write it?
Absolutely. One of the things that I get all the time from my world changers, and I call them world changers because I have the amazing opportunity to speak with individuals, not only in the nation, but all over the world, is, Jasmine, how do I use my voice? How do I amplify my message? And one of the things that I noticed was that there is a certain art to being able to communicate, but not just sounding like a pitch, but being able to have statements that are so powerful that actually allow opportunities to come to you. And I've looked at it too, because over the years, Ryan, I worked in sales, and I never really liked the sales aspect of pitching. Hey, do you want to buy the service? Do you want to buy the service? This is what we have. Do you want it? But I like the fact of building relationships and having stories, and those stories allowing the income to come to me. I used that tactic, and I remember I was top sales in a lot of the positions that I was in. They were wondering how that happened. But sales should not be stressful. They should be fun. They should be what I call jazzed. So when I wrote the book, Speak to Profit, How to Speak with Confidence and Jazz Up Your Sales, I wanted people to always be a magnet for miracles, opportunities, so that way they could make money. So in the book, Speak to Profit, I mentioned my prosperity keys that allow you to not only speak, but also allow you to gain the abundance of prosperity. So when you're speaking, you're a magnet for these opportunities that are coming about, whether it is getting higher positions, or for my entrepreneurs out here, getting those sales that come so naturally. But you're now using who you are, your personality, instead of pitching all the time, building the relationships. So that's what Speak with Confidence is about. It talks about mindset, how to identify who your audience is so you can speak with them, and then also how to tell your story and interweave it. But I teach so much, but all in all, it's for you to speak to profit.
Absolutely. And it seems like there are stories that you have of the things that you might have gone through, that some of the struggles that you had as well, and getting to a place where you could then be a top salesperson.
Absolutely. These are all my stories. Even in one of my segments that I mentioned in one of my chapters, Ryan, I talk about how even individuals have goals. And I take that word out. I said goals, having goals all the time stressed me out, because it was at a certain date that I needed to have this, but then I felt pressured. So I took that out and started calling, instead of goals, having a mission. My mission is to have this amount of money by this time. Even though it is the same thing, it was the word that changed for me that made me start moving intentionally without being pressured, instead of having the goal. In corporate, we had goals to have standards, but we never had a mission. A mission is different. That's what you live every single day. That means now it's become a lifestyle for you instead of something that's pressured. So I changed that. And in my book, I mention even more about how I changed that mindset so I could believe bigger, be in mission, speak to profit.
Oh my gosh. That is so amazing. And you've got me jazzed about that. If I could use the pun in there. And I love it. I really do. And you really seem like you have that energy to be able to speak to profit and speak to those people. And I think that's so important. One thing that people say is, well, I can't ever be an entrepreneur because I'm not a salesperson and I have to sell something. But think about in life in general, you have to sell yourself as in a job, in a relationship, or if you want to, you have to sell yourself on why you're going to be a good partner, a good spouse, why you're going to be a good employee, why are you going to be we should hang out because X, Y, Z. I think it'll be a good idea. Here's why. Would you say that it's not more than just selling something? It's speaking to profit is selling yourself, finding opportunities for you and all of those things?
Absolutely, Ryan. When I speak in my book, Speak to Profit, so many individuals think, oh, if I'm an entrepreneur, that's the only way I can make profit. No, it's exactly what you said, the opportunities, because opportunities are the abundance of everything you can receive. It could be, like you said, the relationships. It could be the friendships that you have. Sometimes it could be the organizations you want to be in, or perhaps even having a chance to mentor someone. Some people will say, I don't want to be with that person. But if you know how to speak, people will come to you. It could be with the leadership opportunities you have. These are opportunities. And I am a true believer, if you have not could tell already, that God is unlimited with opportunities on how you can maximize making profit. I love this because this is about green talk. And when I look at green talk, I look at the abundance of everything that goes with greenery, even the flowers behind me. We blossom around here. But one of the things that I look at is that green means prosperity. So if I want to be prosperous, would I just want to limit myself with finances? What if I wanted the opportunities of actually having a connection that could lead me to greater finances as well? So we don't look at it like that. Sometimes we look at it that profiting is just having a check, but it's also being able to profit with relationships that are even just as profitable to allow opportunities to come for financial gain as well, because you can be able to meet that one person that can change your life, and that person can lead you to other people. And it's a domino effect for you to be able to not only build relationships, genuine relationships, but then also have the opportunity to elevate yourself and blossom to that next level.
That is awesome, indeed. And I'm just kind of I got caught out there just listening to that, and I forgot I was even in an interview for a second. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking notes, and this is really good information here. Man, this is amazing. For those people that are listening or maybe just tuning in, I'm with transformation strategist, motivational speaker, international best-selling author. Jasmine Romaine has a book called Speak to Profit. She's also the founder and president of Jazzlins LLC. She transforms minds and hearts and souls and does all of those things, speaks all over the country, also speaks all over the world, to be able to help others attain the highest levels that they want to be able to attain as well. I want to kind of dive a little bit more into what you do at the transformation part, if you will. And let's say you meet somebody that has low self-esteem, that has some things, they're shy about talking to other people. I don't have your personality, Jasmine. I can't bring opportunities to me, like the way that you do. How would you coach them in a situation like that to get them to move into a place where they can open themselves up, let people see them for who they are, transform themselves, and allow those opportunities, whether it's in employment, whether it's in relationships, whether it's entrepreneurship, money, finance, all of those things to come to them?
Absolutely. One of the things that I always like to tell individuals is that we are all the same. However, even our fingerprints are very different. even though we all have fingers, but our fingerprints are very different and unique. That's why when you're getting different types of things done, they'll say, let's get your fingerprint, because they realize that fingerprint's going to be totally different to identify you. So there's nobody out there that needs to be a Jasmine Romaine. It's enough of me all by herself. But you have a specific gift. There's a specific personality. And if I could just talk like faith driven right now, you have a certain type of fruit of your own spirit that you will bring. It might be joy. It might be empathy. It might be compassion. It could be love. It could be knowing how to forgive quickly. You have something very unique. And I believe when people walk into their zone of what it is that they do so naturally, that's when those opportunities come. So do you need to be a jazzed up type of person, speaking like different types of words, and almost feels like it's parable sometimes how I speak, but no, but you just have to be your unique self and stick with the authenticity of you. That's where the money comes in. I look at different types of individuals. Oprah Winfrey has her amazing compassion. She wants to give everyone a car. You have Wendy Williams, who's like, how you doing? And she has her certain type of flair. And even as a young girl, when I was working at radio, I wanted a fusion of both of them. But I realized I couldn't be both of them. I only could be Jasmine Romaine. So as I'm teaching different individuals, and for those who are listening in your audience as well, the only person that you want to become is who you are. That is the only person you want to amplify. Find those things that work naturally for you. And if you don't know what that is, ask a couple of people in your circle. Say, what is it that makes me unique? And if they tell you, oh, you are so loving, or oh, you're a great listener, that might just be your standout factor that's going to help you be even more to elevate towards what you need. Use that, and that will be the ones that allow you to continue to flourish.
This is your host, Ryan Marshall. We'll continue more of our conversation on GTBF, Green Talk for Brown Folks. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN.
Welcome back, everybody, to GTBF, Green Talk for Brown Folks. I'm your host, Ryan Marshall.
We're talking to transformation strategist, motivational speaker, international best-selling author Jasmine Romaine, the founder and president and CEO of Jazzlance LLC, doing a lot of great things to be able to transform the minds and the hearts and the souls of the people that she talks to all across the country and all across the nation. I really appreciate you being here today. It really seems like one of the messages that you teach is about your mindset and how to change your mindset. And I know you've heard of the book Think and Grow Rich. It's one of my favorite books, and there's one from the Black perspective, Think and Grow Rich as well. I think that's important too. I like to talk about the money mindset, and a lot of times how we may have thought about money coming up as maybe children, adolescents, and how that leads into how we think about money and opportunity and things as adults. Can you speak to that and how your mindset affects and how you look, your viewpoint of money that you've looked at for a while affects how you look at money today?
Absolutely. Ryan, I came from, and this is just my story, I came from a single parent household. So all I knew when I was growing up was like one source of income, and that was from my amazing mother, who was the provider in my household. And one of the things that I realized in that very moment was that even though she didn't have like the financial abilities to do a lot of the things that I saw maybe my friends who had two parents in the household have, she was still able to provide other things like love, wisdom, wisdom, knowledge. And I'm so grateful. But one of the things that I noticed too, and this was my mindset that came before I became who I am today, because we didn't have like a lot, even though I didn't know we didn't have a lot, because I thought we was living the life, Ryan. I'm like, yes, we get to have this breakfast for dinner. Okay, I'm here for it. But one of the things that I realized was I would hold on to money so much because I was scared that I would have lack. And I only had that mentality because when I realized that, wait, maybe we didn't have as much. That's why my mindset started changing to holding on. Talking about tithing, child, you wouldn't probably get that ever. Or giving to other people just because, I was keeping all of that. And I changed my mindset when I started. And it's interesting that you read Think and Grow Rich, because that's one of the books that I love. And in the African American version, one of the first chapters, it says, "Why are you not rich?" I read that and that completely changed my mind because I said, oh my gosh, I don't even think I need to read further, even though I did. But I said, I'm not rich because I have a mindset of poverty. And you cannot have a poverty mindset to get into prosperous ways. And so I started changing my thinking. And I started thinking I had abundance, even if it didn't look like I had abundance. But I started doing what that song says, walk it like you talk it. And I started changing my mind. And when that started happening, I could see it was a release started happening. Opportunities were coming to me. Things were gifted to me. People were giving me things. I mean, it was crazy. And then also I could see the tangible form of revenue as well in my business and the things that I was doing in my life, because money is just energy. It's energy, but it's energy for you to know that God is able to provide more for you than you can ever imagine. And it's not just limited with the money, it's the opportunities, the possibilities. That's why I like to sing the song by Jill Scott, living my life like it's golden, because if we can live our life like it's golden, think our life like it's golden, the gold will come to us, and that's the prosperity.
Oh my goodness. We could talk about this all day. We have had all day conversations, and I really, really, really appreciate you coming on and dropping some knowledge just about opportunity, entrepreneurship, a little bit about your brand and all of those things mixed together. Before we go, I'd like for people to know where they can find you, your website, social media, how they can get their hands on your book, Speak to Profit. They absolutely need to read that as a must read. It's not the summer season anymore, but we have a fall reading season. Please go get that book. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Absolutely. If individuals want to find out more about me, please check out my website. It's www.jaslence.com. And in that website, when you go stroll around, you'll see me, but you'll also see a gift just for you. And that gift is to help you even more so you can elevate your story, so you can get out there and speak your message. Hey, I'm trying to help you to teach business and life and speak it all at the same time. But then also, if you want to get a copy to elevate your life when it comes to speaking and the opportunity, Speak to Profit is available online. So you can go on Amazon and get you a copy, get you an Amazon copy, tell your friend, and all of that stuff. Because I truly believe that when you speak to profit, you're speaking life, but you're also speaking business as well.
That's awesome. And your social medias, where can they find your social media as well?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at J_Romaine. So J_Romaine is where you can find me on Instagram.
There she is, Jasmine Romaine, founder, president, and CEO of Jaslence LLC. She's a transformation strategist, transforming the minds and the hearts and the souls of everybody she comes in contact with. She's already transformed this show just by talking with her. She's an internationally best-selling author, motivational speaker. She is a lot of things to a lot of people, and she is fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on to Green Talk for Brown Folks. We really appreciate that.
Oh, it is my pleasure. And I want to thank you for your mission that you have here at the Green Talk with Brown Folks. Thank you for the prosperity that you bring and for having me.
I appreciate that. All right. So we're going to have Jasmine back as part of our entrepreneurship roundtable. We're going to have that probably in a couple of months here. You do not want to miss that because she's going to drop some additional nuggets along with some of the other entrepreneurs that we have a chance to talk to. And then it'll be an opportunity for you to interact and Q&A and things. That's going to be so exciting. So thank you so much, guys, for listening here at Green Talk for Brown Folks. Until next week, I'm Ryan Marshall. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN. Follow Ryan's social media on Twitter at Ryan H. Marshall and on Instagram, RHM WealthWave. You can also connect with him via email at ryan.marshall@howmoneyworks.com. That's ryan.marshall@howmoneyworks.com. Join him next Friday at 1 p.m. for another edition of Green Talk for Brown Folks.